wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
We are the Breakfast Club. Let's get in some front page news. Start off with some quick sports. John Wall, NBA player, he retires after 11 seasons. He played most of his career with the Washington Wizards. He was a first pick in the 2010 draft out of Kentucky, 5-time All-Star. He averaged 18.7 points, 8.9 assists, and he will be joining Prime Video's NBA coverage. So, congratulations to John Wall, man. Salute to John Wall, man.
He ain't played in a couple years, though, right?
Nah, I think he was injured one year, and
That's when he was doing the Dougie all the time, right? The dance. John
Flex.
Wall was, He always did the dance.
Flex.
Okay.
All right, what's up, Morgan?
Hey, y'all. Hey, how we feeling on a hump day Wednesday?
Blessed, black, and highly
What's up,
favored.
girl?
All right, I love to hear it. So the White House is once again touting hundreds of arrests made during President Trump's crime crackdown in Washington, D.C. Now, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt highlighted what's been done so far. She says that 52 arrests were made on Monday night alone and alleged an MS-13 gang member with convictions for DWI and drug possession was also picked up. Let's take a listen to her comments.
President Trump's efforts to make D.C. safe again are working. There have been a total of 465 arrests since the start of this operation on Thursday, August 7th. Thanks to President Trump's leadership and the outstanding work of both federal and local law enforcement, dangerous gang members like the one picked up last night will not be allowed on the streets of our nation's capital.
So this comes as several Republican-led states have sent hundreds of National Guard troops to D.C. to assist. Now, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser has expressed that it doesn't make sense, and she called for the Trump administration to clarify whether the surge in federal troops posted in the nation's capital is meant to reduce crime or increase immigration enforcement. So again, I will keep you guys posted on what's going on with that. Now, speaking of violence, here's an update on the Brooklyn nightclub shooting that took place over the weekend. Authorities are now saying 2 of the 3 people killed in Sunday's nightclub gang-related mass shooting in Crown Heights, Brooklyn, were shooters themselves. Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch, this is NYPD Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch, says 19-year-old Marvin St. Louis and 35-year-old Jamel Childs approached each other before bullets started flying and both were killed. Let's take a listen to her comments. NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch.
So to be clear, 2 of the 3 deceased are the shooters involved in the incident. Mr. St. Louis approached Mr. Childs and opened fire. Mr. Childs returned fire and 2 other gunmen immediately joined. We believe that there were 4 shooters in total.
So 27-year-old Amadou Diallo was also killed. He was an innocent bystander in that incident. Now, police are still looking for 2 other shooters in that incident. Meanwhile, the number of people shot at the Taste of the City lounge has risen to 14 after 2 more people checked into the hospital with bullet wounds following that incident again. And like I said, Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch says that detectives are still looking for 2 of the 4 shooters. And a quick weather update on Hurricane Erin. Millions of U.S. residents will still feel the impact of the outer bands of Hurricane Erin, even though the actual storm will not make landfall, or at least it's not projected to at this moment. The center of Erin is forecast to move between the U.S. East Coast and Bermuda today and tomorrow, with high surf and rip currents expected from Massachusetts to the Carolinas. In fact, I've been seeing a lot of beaches along the coast up here in here in Maryland in Ocean City. They've shut down the beach. I believe they've done the same along the coast in New York and Jersey. Some residents in the Mid-Atlantic have already evacuated, including along parts of North Carolina's Outer Banks, which is currently under a coastal flooding threat. And of course, as I mentioned, New York and New Jersey officials are also warning people to stay out of the water because of dangerous, deadly rip currents. Yep. And the Trump administration is confirming it will conduct a review of the Smithsonian museums. President Trump posted on Truth Social that the Smithsonian is, quote, out of control. He said there's nothing about brightness and too much about how horrible our country is and how bad slavery was. Trump said he'll have the museums reviewed under the same process done with colleges and universities. He added this country cannot be woke because woke is broke. So,
once again, I said this yesterday, Donald Trump has successfully stopped people from talking about the Epstein files or the economy. Between what he's doing in D.C. and his attack on museums, right? You know, he's successfully gotten people to stop talking about the Epstein files and the economy. And you know, it's interesting. At first, he tried to do it through going at black, notable figures, like releasing the MLK files, saying he wanted to lock Obama up, going at Beyonce, going at Oprah. None of that worked.
Low IQ.
He what?
Talk about you,
low
low IQ.
You low IQ.
Whatever. He's right. None of that worked, right? But he said, you know what? Forget the notable figures. Let's actually go after their neighborhoods, D.C., and their history, the attack on museums, and it'll change the conversation. And guess what? It's worked.
Yeah, it's been about.
It's absolutely worked.
Yeah.
Nobody, people not talking about the Epstein file. They're not talking about the economy no more. They're talking about, what he said about the Smithsonian and other museums, and they're talking about what's going on in D.C. Rightfully so. But the Epstein files and the economy conversation
Vanished.
Gone out the window.
For sure. It still needs to be happening, right?
Yes, because that's the thing that bothered him, and that's the thing that bothered his base.
Yeah.
Why would you stop talking about that?
All right, y'all, that's your front page news for 6 a.m. Stick around. At 7, we will talk about what's going on in Texas. It appears that there's a Democratic lawmaker who is being illegally confined, or she's claiming that she's being illegally confined to the Texas Capitol House. So
Claiming? No, it's actually happening.
But we'll get to that next hour. Everybody else, get it off your chest. 800-585-1051. If you need to vent, phone lines are wide open again. 800-585-1051 is the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Let's get in some front page news. Again, want to salute to John Wall. He retires after 11 NBA seasons. Now, most of his career was with the Wizards. He's a 5-time All-Star point guard. His career was 18.7 points, 8.9 assists per game. So, congratulations and salute to John Wall. What's going on, Morgan?
All right. Hey, y'all. Hey, in case you missed it, in Texas, a Democratic lawmaker says she's being illegally confined after refusing to leave the Texas Capitol until the House reconvenes this morning. This comes after Democrats left Texas for 2 weeks to protest Republican redistricting plans. Lawmakers returned on Monday, but State Representative Nicole Collier of Fort Worth refused to sign off on a police escort required to leave the building. She originally said she'll stay in the building until the legislature reconvenes, but is now filing a petition asking a court to allow her to leave. Collier says she's facing illegal restraint by the government. This comes as Texas House Speaker Dustin Burrows ordered Democrat House members who had arrest warrants issued for them as they broke quorum to agree to specific conditions, including having DPS officers escort them to assure that they return to the House the next day. Now, Collier says she will not sign off on that escort, and she was not allowed to leave the chamber. Let's take a listen to her comments.
Why would I agree to this? Why do I have to continue to be subject to their control? And so I've had enough, just like the American people have had enough of the Trump takeover and the harmful policies that they've passed in Congress. This is just one little petty way of showing that they have the upper hand. But they didn't realize that I'm just as stubborn as they are, and I'm refusing to back down.
Yeah, so after being in the chamber for over 30 hours, former Vice President Kamala Harris called Representative Collier, and here's what she had to say in part.
You really are inspiring so many people, and I just want you to know that you are among those who history will reveal to have been heroes of this moment. So you just stay strong and do what you are doing. You have the right instinct, you are talented, and you are principled.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. I can't tell you how much this means to me and the community that I represent, that you care.
So unfortunately, protesters who gathered at the Texas Capitol building had to be evacuated following a shooting threat that took place yesterday evening. Now, Texas Department of Public Safety says the evacuation was triggered around 6:30 p.m. after someone on social media called on protesters to take action by shooting and killing those at the Capitol who won't let Democrats leave without a police escort. So,
how do you detain somebody without authority? Like, isn't that some type of form of kidnapping? Like, she didn't commit a crime. Like, how do you do that? How was that legal?
I'm not sure. You know, the House Speaker and the governor, they've issued those orders to basically say that these Democrats need to be arrested when they come back. And, you know, now that she's come back, she's decided, hey, you're not going to arrest me either. You're not going to take me into any kind of police custody. I should be able to leave and go home. And so in an additional protest, she's decided, you know, hey, I'm just going to sit here in the state house. So
now, hold on. Now, is she sitting? Maybe I'm confused about the story. I thought she wasn't there willingly. I thought that they were keeping her.
It initially started as her just demanding that she's not going to leave because she didn't want to sign off on having that police escort. There was a police escort to basically say, hey, if you leave the Capitol, you know, we want to make sure that you come back and you're not going to flee again. So you need to sign off on a permission slip to have a police escort. Now she's basically saying, I'm not signing that permission slip. And if y'all, and they're saying, well, if you leave, we're going to arrest you. And she's saying, well, that's fine. I just won't leave.
Yeah. Oh, see, I thought she was told she could not leave the Capitol without risking.
Well, now she's demanding because she feels like, you know, hey, I've been here over 30 hours and then some. So now she's filed a petition for that for sure. Yeah.
That's what her alleging illegal confinement would be. The fact that they're not allowing her to leave. Yeah. To leave. Yes. I thought that they told her you cannot leave the Capitol without risking arrest.
Yes, that is essentially what it is. You cannot leave the Capitol without signing this permission slip, or you will be arrested. And she's not left. So that's how I understand it to be what's taking place in that incident. So. Let's switch gears to Baltimore. Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott is sharing a racist voicemail that he received back in July. Now, the caller said he called Scott the N-word multiple times and dropped multiple expletives as well. Now, Mayor Scott said he really thinks it's time for folks to hear the kind of hatred and vitriol that still exists in the world today. Let's take a listen to some of that call. And it is hard to listen to, and there is some expletives. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, this message is for Brandon Scott, the wannabe thug-ass gangster who pretends to be the mayor of Baltimore City. How about you stop making Baltimore a place for worthless piece of worthless niggers like you who just shoot each other and sell drugs? How about you do your damn job?
Yeah, so Mayor Scott
that was a little too sassy.
Yeah.
I don't like my racism with all that sass.
Yeah.
Too sassy. You know what I mean?
How do you like your racism? Yeah. Hold on. What do you mean?
I like it straight. Like, you know, I'm gonna kill you niggers when I see you.
Hardcore.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Hardcore. Like, that was a little too sassy.
No chasing up. You just want straight.
All y'all do is shoot each other and sell drugs. Okay.
So Mayor Scott responded to the call and went on to say that the messages mean that he's doing his job well and he's never going to be afraid of being a proud black man. Hey, Baltimore. So let's take a listen to Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott's response to this racist caller.
There's a lot to unpack there, obviously. This isn't the first time I've been called. It won't be the last. In fact, if I go a week without being called the N-word in email, text message, direct message, voicemail, whatever, I feel like I'm not doing my job. Because when they do that, they actually are expounding upon what we're supposed to do, making people who think like that idiot on the other line of that phone be uncomfortable, because now we're representing all people and pushing and not being afraid to be a proud black man, which I am never going to be afraid to be a proud black man. And yes, we're making Baltimore City better for black people, because this is the birthplace of redlining. I am investing into neighborhoods like the one that I grew up in that was disinvested in on purpose.
Salute to Mayor Brandon Scott. Dropping the police bombs for Mayor Brandon Scott. He's doing a fantastic job. Baltimore's violent crime rate is hitting an all-time low, and it's because he's actually taking those resources.
That's right.
He's getting resources, you know, from the governor, Wes Moore, and putting those resources where they need to be, because he's somebody who's from the community, so he understands what the community actually needs.
Both of them are from the community.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So amazing. Morgan, did you hear about that ship that blew up in Baltimore?
I did.
Damn near messed up another bridge.
Really?
Well, it was the same bridge, actually. It's the Francis Scott. It happened literally near the Francis Scott Key Bridge as well.
But they didn't start rebuilding that yet, have they?
No, they have not started on rebuilding the Francis Scott Key Bridge.
That's a little crazy, right? Like, these things don't seem to be happening by mistake. Like, how did a ship just blow up right there?
Yeah. So the Port of Baltimore's main shipping channel has reopened as of Monday following that explosion. So the blast sparked a fire on West Sapphire and prompted full emergency response, but all crew members were safely accounted for. Now the Coast Guard led efforts to clear and secure the channel, allowing vessel traffic to resume. Investigators are still working to see what caused that explosion. But yes, it happened aboard a coal ship. And of all things, coal, right? Near the site of the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse. So
it is crazy that, that ship exploded in the same place where the ship hit the bridge. That's crazy.
Yeah. All right, y'all. For my last story, attention, Walmart shoppers. This is for Walmart shoppers that like them scrimps, the shrimp. The FDA is issuing a warning to public to avoid consuming certain great value raw frozen shrimp sold at Walmart. According to a statement from the FDA, the advisory comes after Customs and Border Protection alerted the agency about possible cesium-137 contamination, which is a radioactive isotope from shipping containers. So frozen shrimp from the distributor Indonesia's BMS Foods has tested positive, but the FDA says no shrimp has tested positive that has entered the U.S. food supply as of yet that they know of. So the FDA also said that it's working with distributors and retailers that receive the shrimp from BMS Foods to recommend that firms conduct a recall. So if you like shrimp and you get it from Walmart, maybe not so much right now. So that's your front page news. I'm Morgan Wood. Follow me on socials at Morgan Media. And for more news coverage, make sure you're following at Black Information Network. Download the free iHeartRadio app and visit us at BINnews.com. Thank you.
All right.
Morgan.
Wake that ass up. In the morning. The Breakfast Club.